Okay, let's get right into it. The White House just dropped a series of executive orders that are set to completely flip the script on America's approach to nuclear energy. And look, this isn't just some minor policy tweak. We're talking about a massive, foundational shift aimed at jump-starting an industry that's been kinda sleepy for decades.
And get this quote from one of the actual orders, it really tells you everything you need to know about the why behind all this. The administration is basically saying that the system has gotten bogged down, too slow, too cautious, and it's been holding back the country's technological advantage.
So why the huge push right now? Well, it really boils down to two critical things. First, the absolutely insane energy appetite of artificial intelligence. AI data centers are just energy hogs, and they need power that never, ever quits. And second, national security. Plain and simple. The idea that our critical infrastructure is vulnerable to grid failures, that's now being seen as a massive, massive strategic risk.
So, to really get what they're trying to do, we gotta first look at the problems they're trying to solve. And these documents, they don't mince words. They lay out a pretty stark case for why something has to change, like yesterday.
And wow, just take a look at this. This number really puts it all into perspective. Since 2017, think about this, nearly 9 out of every 10 new nuclear reactors built anywhere in the world were based on foreign designs. The US used to be the leader here, the absolute pioneer. And now, well, we've fallen way, way behind in the global race.
So here's the key takeaway. The administration sees this as three huge problems that are all tangled up together. You've got a national security risk from a shaky grid, an economic risk because our whole industrial base has withered away, and an innovation risk from a regulatory system that just slows everything down to a crawl. This three-part problem is the entire reason for this massive new plan.
All right, so let's get into the solution. Part 1. The first big push is all about using this new technology to directly shield America's most critical assets.
Now, when we say nuclear, you gotta get that image of those giant, old-school power plants out of your head. We're talking about something totally different here. Advanced nuclear reactors. Think smaller, nimbler, and just designed to be safer from the ground up. You can literally build them in a factory and then ship them out to where they're needed. You know, like a micro-reactor that could power an entire remote military base.
And this isn't some vague, maybe someday kind of plan. No way. The executive orders lay out some seriously aggressive, hard deadlines. We're talking the first advanced reactor needs to be up and running at a Department of Energy site in just 2.5 years, with another one online at a military base by the end of 2028. They are not messing around.
And here's where it all clicks together, right? The immediate plan is to use these new reactors to provide a constant, bulletproof power supply to our most important infrastructure. And what's at the top of that list? You guessed it, those AI data centers running national security missions. It's all about taking them completely off the vulnerable public grid so they can't be touched.
Of course, you can have the coolest new reactor designs in the world, but they're not much good if they're just sitting on a shelf, right? You've got to get them approved. And that brings us to the second pillar of this whole strategy, a total shakeup of the folks in charge of the rules, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
And this is a really big deal. We're talking about a fundamental change in mindset for the NRC. For decades, its job was basically to find and eliminate every single possible risk, no matter how small, which made everything take forever. The new mission? To actually facilitate the development of nuclear power, while still ensuring safety, of course. It's about balancing that risk with the huge benefits to the economy and our national security.
And to make sure this actually happens, they're not just asking nicely, they're dropping the hammer. A brand new, hard deadline. From now on, the NRC has a maximum of just 18 months, a year and a half, to give a final yes or no on a new reactor application. I mean, this is a night and day difference from the old way, where it could take years, sometimes even a decade or more.
And the executive order is brutally honest about why they're doing this. It straight up says the old, super long timelines serve to maximize fees while throttling nuclear power development. Ouch. So yeah, this 18-month cap is designed to smash that old cycle to pieces for good.
The third piece of this puzzle, and honestly, this might be the trickiest part of the whole thing. Because, look, you can't just build reactors. You need a whole domestic supply chain to support them. Everything from the fuel that goes in them to the skilled people who actually run them. So the plan attacks this on 4 fronts. 1. Create a national policy for recycling spent fuel. 2. Expand our own ability to enrich uranium here at home. 3. And this is a big one. Release a stockpile of this advanced fuel called HALEU. It's the more potent stuff a lot of these new reactors need just to get the first projects off the ground. And 4, launch huge new programs to train the next generation of nuclear workers.
And the big picture goal behind all of this is crystal clear: achieve energy independence.
The whole idea is to end our reliance on other countries for every critical step of the nuclear fuel cycle. The uranium, the enrichment, the whole shebang.
Okay, last but not least, it's really important to see that all these domestic changes, they're really just step one. They're all designed to fuel a much bigger international strategy, which is all about reestablishing American leadership in the global nuclear market. And just like before, there's a specific target here too. The goal is to aggressively go after at least 20 new 123 agreements. Now, what are those? Well, they're the essential treaties you need to have with other countries to cooperate on peaceful nuclear projects and, more importantly, to sell them our technology. They're basically the legal gateway for exporting U.S. reactors around the world.
And what's really key here is that this is a full court press, a whole-of-government effort. The directive is for the entire federal government to use every tool in its toolbox. We're talking international finance, diplomatic missions, you name it, to make absolutely sure that American nuclear companies become the partners of choice for our allies.
And it all leads to this one absolutely massive goal: to quadruple, that's 4 times, America's nuclear power output by 2050. The executive orders lay out an incredibly ambitious roadmap to get there, tackling everything from regulation to fuel supply. The vision is clear, but the challenge of turning these directives into actual working reactors, that's immense. Which really leaves us with the big question. This is the plan, but can it actually be done?